Hello and welcome to this edition of Real Life, the monthly video diary that helps you to understand what life is like living with an electric unicycle. And here's what's coming up in this episode. So I've had my first proper accident in London. So that would have been my head. So Real Life is all about showing you what real life is living with an electric unicycle. And in this episode I'm showing you an incident that happened to me recently when I had a crash. Now if you think you're going to ride a unicycle and never fall off, then you are fooling yourself. Because when you learn to ride, you will fall off repeatedly. And even the best riders that have been riding for years and years and have got thousands of miles under their wheels are still going to have times when they have a crash. And this is what happened to me. No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Wow. Caught that on film. Massive smash. So I've had my first proper accident in London. And I've been riding around the UK for thousands of miles, and I've never ever before had an accident on a main road. Until today. And I'm in the centre of London, and it is a wet day. It's not very nice. I'm in quite a busy part of town near Borough, and I just trying to get through to a meeting I got this morning. Coming along, bombing along, all well and good. So it's really noisy. Hopefully you can hear this. I've not got my microphone plugged in because this is kind of an emergency recording. And I hit a pothole on the road, and I must have been going about 20 miles an hour, so quite fast. And the pothole was so severe that it threw me up in the air, so my feet came off the foot plates as I jumped in the air and landed with just my heels on the front edge of the foot plate. I couldn't hold it, couldn't stay on. I tried to step off forward, it threw me forward, and I took one hell of a tumble. Fortunately, I'm wearing a helmet. So that would have been my head. That's what it took. The impact, my head hit the curb. So I came off, tumbling forward, and I smacked into the curb. Fortunately, I'm also wearing body armour. I don't know if you can see that. Always wear that. I hit the ground hard and just got up again. The only thing I've hurt myself is my knee. It is raining quite hard now. The damage to the wheel is quite extensive. Is it rideable? Yeah, I think it is. I've ripped out one of the light sockets. That's damaged beyond repair. The side of it is hanging off. So that's not good. But I've got to ride, and also I've got to ride. Well, I'm supposed to be riding across London later today with it, but I'll see how it goes, see how I go as well. So here's the lesson: watch out for the potholes in London, they are fierce. Here's the other lesson: always wear your body armour because you need it if you come off at that speed. So that was the pothole there, it's really deep pothole. Took off, landed there. Skidded across here. Not good. So I've got to get back on now, make sure it's riding okay, in horrible conditions, and get to my meeting. So I'm just creeping along now on the pavement because I want to take it really carefully just to see, first of all, if the wheel's okay. It appears to be riding fine, no problems there. Does the light work on it? Yeah. Yeah, the lights are working, it's behaving okay, but what I don't want to do is jump on it and ride it at speed again. So I'm just seeing if it handles okay, and it does. My one problem with the Kingston wheel is this first version anyway just seems to crumple like tissue paper when you bang it. So this is, I've repaired it twice already, rebuilt it. I think now I'm going to have to replace the inner mountings of the board because I've glued it once, but that's not held under impact. There was one side that I've already replaced the inner board, the inside panel, with the new version, and that's held up. That's not crumpled. So it clearly shows that the original way they built these wasn't strong enough. The other reason I'm going slowly is I'm checking if I'm okay, because sometimes in that shock moment after a big fall, you don't realise you hurt yourself more than perhaps you have. And my leg is really hurting, so I have done something to my knee which I'm not pleased about. So we are going to fall, it's inevitable, but I guess you need to make sure that when you do fall you're as safe as you can be, and because I was wearing the right equipment, I think that the fall actually was a lot less severe than it could have been. So let me just explain. You'll see the video for that fall kind of cut in just as I was mid-tumble. Now part of the reason for that was I just turned the GoPro camera on, and the GoPro camera just then takes a few seconds just to go beep 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 and come to life, and it had just come to life, and by that time I was falling. Now what happened was I'd got the camera mounted on my helmet, I just turned my head to one side and pressed the camera on, and in the doing of that I hadn't really seen the hazard in front of me. Now that might be a criticism, a harsh criticism, because there are times when you're riding when you are looking all around, particularly in busy areas. You are looking at pedestrians that might step out onto a zebra crossing. In fact, somebody did that to me just the day I was riding along, and somebody who was pushing a buggy in front of her didn't turn her shoulder to look on a busy road, just pushed her child out like some kind of tester if there's traffic coming, pushed the child out in a buggy in front of her and stepped in front of me on a zebra crossing. Fortunately, I was able to stop. So when you're riding, you are looking at so many things. So your attention needs to be in so many places. Now on that occasion, I just tipped my head and pressed the camera to record, and that was enough for me to not notice the hazard. Having said that, the hazard was well hidden. It was a wet, rainy day, and there was a pothole, and the pothole had filled with water, and you couldn't see the depth of it. Even on the video there, perhaps what I should have done, I should have actually stood in that and gone up to my knees in water. But it was a deep pothole, and hitting that head on just threw me in the air. It threw me up, my foot jumped off the foot plate, and my heel landed on the front edge of the foot plate, put all the weight to the front of the wheel. I just couldn't contain it, I had nothing to hold on to, and it threw me off and I went tumbling forwards. I hit the ground hard at about 20 miles an hour. The wheel bounced and skidded along the road. Fortunately, there were no cars there. There was nobody behind me really. In London, that's amazing. There were no pedestrians. and the wheel and I didn't collide with anything. Perfectly safe. I did bounce, skid, and rolled on my shoulder and slid across the road, and my head hit the curb, the raised edge of the curb, in such a way that you'll see on the video there is quite a chunk taken out of the helmet. So I now just want to focus on, for a few moments, the safety equipment and what you should wear when you're riding a unicycle to make sure that when you do fall, because that's inevitable, that you're safe and you come to no real harm. So the first bit of equipment, the safety equipment you should buy, and you should probably buy it when you buy your wheel. So when you hit the yes button, add to basket, you should also automatically hit add the basket for a helmet. If you don't own one and a good one, then that is the first thing you should buy. Now this is my replacement helmet, because the thing about crash helmets, once you have a fall and they take a knock, then actually you need to replace them, because their ability to protect you if you were to fall again is dramatically reduced. So like any experienced motorbiker would say, if you drop a helmet or you have a crash, then that's it, you should replace it. Now I've replaced it now with this new Kali helmet, and this is from their budget range, around about £100 thereabouts. I recommend, I've got an affiliation with Speedy Feet. I'm not employed by them, but if you look at the Speedy Feet UK website, you'll see lots of excellent gear, wheels and protective gear. But the Kali helmet, I fully recommend. I'll just show you inside there. I'll do some close-up shots of that as well, so you can see that. But a really well put together, for a budget helmet, for around about £100, this is well made and very comfortable to wear. Tight fit, but it needs to be a tight fit. You don't want a helmet that's rattling around, bouncing your head, around in your head. It needs to fit tightly. I do recommend wearing a full face helmet. In my experience, when you crash, because you are going forward, you are putting your weight forward to ride. If it was to cut out or if it to come off, you go down forwards. You do sometimes go backwards, but most part you go forwards. So I wear a crash helmet with a chin guard. If you are doing 5 miles an hour, then you can just step off it. And in fact, the recommendation is that you should never ride a unicycle at speeds that, if it was to stop, that you couldn't just run out of. So that's probably about 10 or 12 miles an hour. But we all know that we're going to ride a lot faster than that. The wheels go faster than that, and a lot of fun in going faster than that. So if you're going to go faster than being able to just step off it and walk away, then you do need to wear a crash helmet. My advice is, invest in this before you even start to think about riding a unicycle. Get yourself a crash helmet. Really important. The next bit of kit I want to just show you is something that is so basic and simple, but is really worth thinking about, and that is a good pair of gloves. Now I went down hard on my hands. These aren't the gloves I was wearing the day, but these are my kind of winter windbreaker type gloves. Nice and thin, and importantly got the ability to still tactile touch devices should you need them. Now, unicyclists, we do not have a secret handshake, but if you do shake someone's hand, just have a look at the palms of the hands just there on the other side. Now, if they've got scars or bits of gravel embedded in their hands, there's a good chance they're riding an electric unicycle. One of our most common injuries, you go forward, and you take the skin off and put, I've got some nice scars there. Put that. So please think about wearing gloves. The next bit of kit, I'm going to do a quick change, like Wonder Woman, and then put the next bit on. Here we go. Okay, so I'm now wearing, focus, I'm now wearing the body armour of choice that I wear. And you don't need to wear this, but I would recommend it. I have had falls in the past where I have actually broken bones. I've broken my collarbone, I've broken my arm here. It's a great advert, isn't it? On this occasion when I fell, I was wearing this Demon body armour. I hit the ground hard and I was fine. I got up and walked away. Now this stuff is great. This is what they call a non-Newtonian fluid that's built into these at the elbows and the shoulders. And that is a material that is flexible and soft and malleable. See that? But if on impact, if you hit it hard, it goes solid. So it goes hard as rock if it takes an impact, but the rest of the time it's totally flexible. So you can walk around, you can put this under your coat, and you don't notice it's there. You really don't notice. It's got protection on the back. It's got rib protection as well. And because it fits under your clothes and it's soft, you're not wearing really hard stuff like a suit of armour. I've seen people wearing, you know, like roller skating stuff that's rock hard, and they're walking around as if they're doing C-3PO impressions all day. Not with this stuff. And so it's kind of invisible. And I guess if you just wear it like this, it does look a bit like, I'll step back a bit, you do look a bit like a superhero. One thing as well is, if you think this is going to disguise a beer belly, it won't. It will just emphasise it. So, yeah, but I would fully recommend wearing this body armour. I say this brand that I wear is called Demon, and I wear it because it is so flexible, so well put together, and it does such a good job. Other stuff is out there, but I fully recommend Demon. The other bit of safety equipment I would also recommend are knee pads. On this occasion, I wasn't wearing them. In fact, I wasn't even supposed to be on that particular ride. I'd got on the wrong train. I was late for a meeting, so I jumped off at the wrong station. I was nipping to where I should be, and I didn't wear my knee pads because I didn't think I was going for a real ride that day. And that's my biggest regret, because I went down hard and I hit my knee. In fact, I'm going to show you a photo of my knee now without wearing the knee guard. So if you are squeamish, a bit like if you don't want to see the football results, then look away now. So you can see, if you look at the picture, it doesn't look very bad really, but actually it's very sore and painful and injuries to the knee. Okay, the photo has now gone. But so you can open your eyes again. Like injuries like that to your knees are so common, because when you go down, you tend to go down a knee first. And I've seen other riders that have got similar injuries to their knees. Wear knee pads. Again, this is that the same Demon stuff that I wear. You can see just how flexible that is and how soft it is. So you can wear that under your clothes and you don't really notice it's there. In fact, the seams come away from this one, so I can just show you what's in there. If you can see that in there, it's a really soft. So I need to sew that back up, but I've had this for a few years now. You can see soft stuff in there, and that's that Demon D30 stuff that when you hit it hard, it goes hard on impact and you don't feel a thing. So please, ride safely, stay focused on the road, but wear the right equipment. If I'd not been wearing the right equipment, I know for a fact that I would have been a lot worse off. The next day I felt achy and bruised like I'd been through a washing machine. But in fact, I was fine. If I'd not been wearing this, if I'd not been wearing my helmet, I tell you, that would have been a life-altering injury, hitting that curb at that speed in that way. So I'm so thankful I was wearing the right equipment and the helmet for sure. So let's have a look now at the actual unicycle. I made quite a mess of that. The Kingsong 18XL is a beautiful wheel, but it doesn't like to stand up to a bashing. So here's what happened to that. Have a look. That's all okay. Like new. I'll put that in my bag tomorrow when it all falls apart. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Real Life and you found something useful or interesting in it. If you have, then click the like and hit the subscribe and share it with people and get involved in the discussion below. There's a lot to talk about here in terms of riding safely, riding in public spaces, the right kind of equipment and gear, and the whole issue of legality of riding these, for example. And I think for me this emphasises that yes, there will be crashes, but you know, that is okay. On that day in London, I've not looked it up, not seen the stats, I'm not sure if you can, but I guarantee there were cars that crashed. I know there'll be motorbikes that crashed. I'm sure pedestrians were stepping out in front of vehicles. I know that bicycles were doing things that are crazy because I see that every day in London. I see people running through red lights. I see people riding bicycles with children in the front, like their luggage in the front, and they're sneaking out between parked cars onto busy roads, again pushing children out in front of them like, is there a car coming? Well, the children will take it first. That's all perfectly legal and acceptable. So for me this does say yes, unicycles have got their risks, but no greater than anything else that's on the roads, and if you ride sensibly, wear the right stuff, then it's perfectly fine. But we do need to have a conversation about the legality and about insurance and those kind of things, and maybe some kind of testing of standards and people's ability to ride before they're allowed to go out on roads, those kind of things. So get involved in the conversation, share it, and let's just see where this takes us. But for now, enjoy safe riding, and here's a glimpse of what's coming up in next month's episode. I'm setting off today to meet a good friend of mine, a chap called Ian Sampson.
You're quite famous in the world of electric unicycles. You are known around the world. So I've got a challenge for you.
I got a challenge for you. Yes. If you successfully complete the challenge, I will then do a challenge that you set for me. I would like you to ride backwards and then this car park.
We've only got one day to do this.
We better get on with it. Right, here we go with Jonathan. Stage 1 of the going backwards. He's just messed about here. He's actually done it before.